So I think the state of the mobile world is actually a mixed bag for marketers. What we know is that consumers have chosen that as their primary way to connect to the world around them, and that they crave great stories well told on that platform. The challenge, I think, for marketers today is that we've taken a lot of advertising logic into what is ostensibly a one-to-one marketing platform. And advertising, by definition, is a one-to-many experience. So what we really need to do is to understand three different things about mobile. What is the use case where marketers can win? Because in an era where the feed is highly personalized, we need to have something that's contextually relevant, that has stopping power. So that's the first challenge. I think the second challenge that we have ultimately is attribution. And that is, are we getting the right signal from the mobile environment so that we can make the right investment in those platforms? Most marketers today know they're under investing in mobile. It has entirely to do with the ability to give the correct attribution to the experience there. And the third thing is a fundamental shift in the campaign mindset from a come into the market when you have a budget, and when the budget's gone, you're out of market. Now it's an always-on environment where we need to be in the storytelling business all the time.
Lou, tell us a little what this whole audio recognition thing going on here. What are your thoughts?
I think there's a renaissance for audio, right? I think that, in the early days of advertising and radio, that was the big thing, and then, 100 years happened and we sort of saw it go away. Then Bob Pittman resurrected it, but now it's really about dialogue, and it's about dialogue with that personal home assistant. And for me, that's an interesting experience because it's a down funnel experience for the consumer. When you address Echo or Google Home, you have a need in mind. And with that opportunity comes opportunities for brands to conquest, challenges for brands and how do they build their brand, right? Because now you don't have the logo, the iconography, and really understanding the mechanics of all the signal that's coming off of that. If you're a communications planner, how do I start to build profiles now that are inclusive of all that rich data? So for us, it's a reset. And I think the difference is, I said 2 years ago that voice-based search will someday eclipse text-based search. And I think, Andy, you looked at me like I've lost my mind when I said it to you. But I think now we're much closer to that. And as we start to think about that, how do we take the marketing product and distill it down into a distinctive voice that people have a relationship with and are comfortable asking? Because I think the number of brands that you're going to ask directly will probably shrink to those that you really have a personal relationship with on the platform.
How do you think brands activate in that audio world, or could they, or
Sure.
Where does that stand?
I think the first thing brands are going to struggle with is, what is our distinctive brand voice? We need something that is iconic and memorable and not intrusive. You can't really hire talent, at least well-known talent, to be your brand voice because that's fraught with issues. So how do we craft something that's distinctive and authentic and relatable? Beyond that, how do we get into the lexicon of people's need set in such a way that, for financial services, for example, you ask Bank of America, our assistant is called Erica, and so you say, Erica, I need help with. How do we build out all those use cases? How do we know to tell people to go use them? And how do we learn to differentiate the experience that we create in those platforms so that people really start to say, you know what, Bank of America understands me better, they know my needs, and they're anticipating them for me. It's a really interesting environment that's going to take a lot of trial and error for marketers to get good at. But we're really embracing that future.
That's great. And finally, Lou, what do you make of this artificial intelligence? There's a lot of talk about it. I don't know how much of it's buzzwords and how much of it's really an opportunity. And it's existent in many sectors of industry, but not so much in media. How do you see the prospects there?
So, you hear a lot when you come to conferences like Mobile World Congress about AI, AR, VR. I think one of them is fundamentally different and actually will be a game changer. I think AI is going to help marketers with the biggest challenge we face in today's highly personalized world, the versioning of content so it's highly relevant for individuals. It won't replace the creative process. The big idea will still come from the creative agency and everything will be platformed off of that. But when I need to make 1,200 versions of that for various segments that I'm trying to serve in the mobile world, I need something that can do it very quickly, very efficiently, and with light touch, because it's about speed to market. Artificial intelligence is going to be wonderful for that, and I think we're going to have to learn our way into that, and I think a lot of folks that are traditionally a little precious about creative are going to struggle with the idea at first, but when you see the richness and relevance that we're able to create through AI, I think it's going to be a game changer for marketers, and at the exact time we need it, so that we can take advantage of all the personalized signal that we get.